Hey, what's up, guys? A friend recently requested that I do a review on this guy. This guy's name is Claude Debussy, and he's another famous French composer from the 19th century, like Berlioz and Bizet. So we're going to talk about him today, so here we go. Debussy was born on August 22nd, 1862, in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, Saint-Ois, on the northwest fringe of Paris. He was the eldest of 5 children and the son of Manuel Achille Debussy and his wife Victorine. Debussy Sr. ran a china shop, and his wife was Debussy's mother, in other words, was a seamstress. The shop was unsuccessful and it closed in 1864. The family moved to Paris, first living with Victorine's grandmother, who was Claude's grandmother at the time, in Clichy from 1868 in their own apartment in the Rue Saint-Honoré. Manuel worked in a painting factory. At the end of 1880, while continuing his studies in the conservatory, he was engaged as accomplished for Marie Morel-Sainty's singing class. He took the role for 4 years. Among the members of the class was Marie Vansnier. Debussy was greatly taken with her, and she inspired him to compose. He wrote 27 songs and dedicated to her to their 7-year relationship. She was the wife of Henry Vansnier, a prominent civil servant and much younger than her husband. She soon became Debussy's mistress as well as his muse. Whether Vansnier was content to tolerate his wife's affair with the young student, or was simply unaware of it, is not clear, but he and Debussy remained on excellent terms, and he continued to encourage the composer in his career. After a week, his return to Paris in 1887, Debussy heard the first act of Wagner's Tristan und Isolde at the Concerts Les Miracles and judged it decidedly the finest thing I know, Debussy once said. In 1888 and 1889, he went to the annual festivals of Wagner's opera in Bayreuth. He responded positively to Wagner's sincereness and form of mastery and form and striking harmonies, was briefly influenced by them. But unlike other French composers, his generation he included, there was no future in intending to adopt and develop Wagner's style. He commented in 1903 that Wagner was a beautiful sunset that was mistaken for dawn. In October of 1903, there was a public recognition of Debussy's stature when he was appointed to the Chevalier of the Légion d'Honneur, but his social standard suffered a great blow when another turn in his private life caused a scandal the following year. Among his pupils was Raoul Bardec, son of a girl named Emma, who was the wife of a Persian banker, Sigismond Bardec. In October of 1905, Lumiere, Debussy's most substantial orchestral work, was premiered in Paris by the Orchestre Les Miracles under the direction of Camille Chauvelin. The reception was mixed. Some praised work, but Pierre Leroux, a critic of Le Temps, Hetero, an admirer of Debussy's wrote, "I do not hear, I do not see, I do not smell the sea." In the same month, the composer's only child was born at their home. Claude Emma, affectionately known as Chow Chow, was a musical inspiration to the composer. She was the dedicee of the Children's Corner Suite. She outlived her father scarcely by a year, succumbing to the Debussy. Mary Garden, his genius, Garden said, "I honestly don't know if Debussy ever loved anybody, really. He loved his music and perhaps himself. I think he was wrapped up in his genius, but biographers agreed that where his relations with his lovers and friends, Debussy was devoted to his daughter." Debussy's musical development was slow as a student. He was adept to produce for his teachers at the conservatory when the work would conform their conservative precepts. His friend George Jean Aubry commented that Debussy admirably imitated Maznik's melodic turns of phrase, which won the Prix de Rome, or more characteristically Debussyan work from his early years in La Demoiselle. Musicians from Debussy's time onwards have regarded Pré à du Front, written in 1894, as his first orchestral masterpiece. Newman considered it completely an idea, absolutely personal in style, logical and coherent from first to last, without superstitious bar, even a superfluous note. Of the later orchestral works, Images in 1905 to 1912 is better known and more often played at the Jeux in 1913. The formal follows the tripartite form established in the Nocturnes and Lemur, but differs in the British and French folk tunes, and many making of the central movement Iberia far longer the outer ones, and subdividing into three parts, all inspired by scenes from Spanish life. Although considering Images the pinnacle of Debussy's work achievement as a composer for orchestra, Trezise notes a contrary view that belongs to the ballad score Jukes. The latter failed, as a ballad became what Jan Passler describes as a battle scenario that was neglected for some time. Recent analysts have found it in a link that traditional continuity and grown within a score the desire to create discontinuity in ways mirrored in the later 20th century music. In this piece, Debussy abandoned the whole tone scale he often favored previously of the autonic scale, with what Debussy scholar François Lejour describes as tonal ambiguities. In 1904, Debussy played the piano accompanied for Mary Garden in the recordings of the Compagnie Française de Graffune of four of his songs, three melodies from the Veronese Circle Arlette, Ritus Oblige, Un peu dans Monsieur, Les Ombres en Green, and Mélancoliques from Act 3 of Piles et Muisi. He made a set of piano rolls for the Weg-Mignon Company in 1913. They contained 14 of his pieces, all 6 movements of Children's Corner and 5 preludes. And the 1904 and 1913 sets have been transferred to compact disc. In more recent times, Debussy His output has been extremely recorded. In 2018 marks the centenary of the composer's death. Warner Classics, with contributors from other companies, issued in a 33 CD set that is claimed to all the music Debussy wrote. Well, that's it for now. Thank you for listening.